Gracias, Alex. Efectivamente está con nosotros el congresista Grayson, que lo hemos invitado porque él representa el Distrito 9 de Florida, un distrito que están muchos puertorriqueños ahí en la comunidad de Orlando que nos ven día a día aquí en Jugando Pelota Dura. Thank you for being with us, Congressman. Thanks for being with us, and we're going to start talking about your visit here in Puerto Rico. You went to Vieques. Is that the reason why you came here to Puerto Rico, to talk about the issues of Vieques, or what's the reason for your visit here in Puerto Rico?
I came for two reasons. The first reason is that I want to see with with my own eyes, what the situation is in Vieques and how the federal government can help. The second reason is I want to try to bring Puerto Rico and Central Florida closer together. We have the third largest group of Puerto Ricans in the world in Central Florida. First San Juan, second New York, third Orlando. So I want to see what we can do to bring our communities together and make sure that people are treated equally whether they live here or whether they live there.
Yo básicamente le pregunté cuáles eran los motivos, ¿verdad?, de su visita aquí en Puerto Rico. Me acaba de decir pues que quería conocer de cerca la situación que vive la población de Vieques y asimismo unir la comunidad de puertorriqueños allá en Orlando, en Estados Unidos también, y la comunidad aquí en Puerto Rico, y unir todos esos esfuerzos de ambas comunidades. What did you find in Vieques? What's the real situation? Because it has been 10 years since the Navy left, but the government, the U.S. government, has not done anything to clean our land.
Well, first I found sadness. I found people with severe health problems that could not logically be caused by anything other than the Navy bombing.
What is the Congress going to do about it? Because I've been to Congress and I've been to a lot of public hearings, and they always promise, we're going to clean the land. We're going to clean the land, but you know what? Nothing happens.
Well, there has been some cleanup, but it's too slow. It has to be accelerated. And you know, we spend so much on the military each year. I voted for $1 trillion for the military when I was in Congress before. Certainly they can peel off some millions of dollars that are required to clean Vieques properly once and for all.
So you have worked in Congress for the people of Puerto Rico so the land can be cleaned.
Yes, and also I've tried to get the military to take responsibility. There's an agency called the ATSDR that consistently denies responsibility for the military for the problem there, but their science is flawed, and they're not paying the proper attention to the testimony of the people there. The things that we heard with our own ears yesterday are what's important. That's the evidence, not the studies that they do, which is independent off the island and elsewhere.
Le acabo de preguntar qué se ha hecho para la limpieza de los terrenos del pueblo viequense. Se cumplen ya 10 años desde que la Marina se fue. El congresista básicamente lo que me ha dicho es que él ha trabajado para que se consigan fondos y se lleve a cabo esta limpieza. Le dije, pues, básicamente también me dijo pues que está trabajando mano a mano y que también la Marina se responsabilice por la limpieza de los terrenos en Vieques. In other issues, what are we going to do about the status? The people of Puerto Rico last November said, we want a change. Now we see President Barack Obama saying that we probably have to do another plebiscite. Why? The past plebiscite cannot be respected. The will of the people is not going to be respected by the White House.
I'm not sure that that's how the president actually sees things, but that's not the fundamental problem. The problem is not that the president is insisting on something further. The problem is that there is no progress on this in the House or the Senate because the Republicans in the United States on the mainland are blocking this. They are fearing—
The Senate.
In the Senate and in the
House.
House, but particularly in the Senate, because in the Senate there's no Puerto Rican representation at all. In the House you have Commissioner Pierre Luisi, who fights very hard for Puerto Rico and makes much progress all the time, but in the Senate there's nothing. And in the Senate, the Republicans are consistently acting to block any sort of progress because they fear the power of the Puerto Ricans. They fear the 2 senators who will be Democrats. They fear the 5 or 6 members of Congress who will be Democrats. And for political reasons, they're doing everything they can to stop progress on anything regarding status, whether it's statehood or Commonwealth status, or even equality. They not only block status changes, but they also block anything resembling parity for the people of Puerto Rico. We have people moving to the mainland because they want better benefits, better health care, better veterans benefits. That's wrong. No matter where people live, they're citizens. There should not be second-class citizenship.
So specifically then, what is Obama offering to the people of Puerto Rico by his last announcement?
It's very hard to say, but that's not where the action is. The action is in the Senate and in the House.
But if you're telling me if it's very hard to say, how are we supposed to understand the people of Puerto Rico what Obama is going to do for the people of Puerto Rico? He promised, he came to Puerto Rico and he promised in his past campaign that he was going to do something about the status.
I think it's possible that he will, but I don't think that the budget reflects that. I think the budget is simply a number.
Okay, that's just a number, maybe
just a number.
to do an education orientation to the people of Puerto Rico about the status?
Right. I judge him more by his words and by his actions than by a number in a budget. There's many things in that budget that I disagree with, and I don't think that the budget is self-explanatory.
Okay, you explained to me that the Senate's going to be a little bit difficult in the Senate. So do you think that there's a possibility that Pedro Pierluisi is going to be able to submit a project to about the status of Puerto Rico in the House?
Listen, the only time that we've been able to make any progress on status at all is when we've had a Democratic House, a Democratic Senate, and a Democratic White House, a Democratic President. I think that the same thing is going to need to be true. Right now, the Republicans control the House. They have the power to block in the Senate. And as long as that's the case and they continue to fear the power of Puerto Ricans and more generally the power of Hispanics, then you'll see no progress on any of this. The Republican Party has been an anti-Hispanic party for generations now. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon.
You represent a lot of people in Orlando. What do Puerto Ricans ask of you over there in Orlando?
Well, first they want parity. They want to be able to live the same life with the same rights and the same benefits no matter whether they live on the island or off the island. Secondly, they want to see economic development on the island because the island remains very poor. And they understand that even if they're on the mainland, their relatives, their nieces, their nephews, their uncles, their aunts, their parents, their children, they all need to benefit from better economic circumstances here on the island. And of course, just as is true here as it is on the mainland, people want better jobs, they want health coverage, which we're making a lot of progress in. They want a roof over their heads, they want to be able to own their homes, and they want an education for their children, an opportunity to see the next generation have opportunities that maybe they didn't have themselves. So that much is the same here as it is there.
Thank you, Congressman, for being with us. I'm just going to do a brief summary in Spanish so people can understand.
Yes, this is where I have to go if I want to be seen in my district because everybody watches your show in Central Florida.
We have a lot of people in Orlando that watch our program and in the whole United States. Thank you for being with us, Congressman Grayson.
Pleasure.
Nosotros vamos a continuar luego de la pausa aquí en Jugando Pelota Dura.